Ladies and gentlemen, I am back once again here to review Impact Wrestling with the top takeaways. I have 15 takeaways today. It's going to be a quick review. I'm not going to go move by move. Not all of the moves. I'll make it quick, nice and quick. I get right down to it. All I actually do is feel free to hit that thumbs up button on this video if you love Impact Wrestling. So, let's hop right on into it. My first takeaway is Moose and Miguel. That could be a rap group, but that beside the point. They had a fantastic match, Moose and Trey. Look, I love the apron border toss from Moose to Trey, and Trey took some 6 spots in this match, and they taught a very good job of speed versus power. And it was a phenomenal opener. I mean, it was so good that it could have been the main event. I love the reverse roundup from Trey as well, but at the end of the match, Moose would pick up the victory with the spear. I thought this was a phenomenal match. We had a great dynamic. Moose is the new age big man. It's big and can fly around with the little guys, and that makes for a great dynamic with such an athletic wrestler, the likes of Trey. So, moving on from that excellent match. Moving on from there, Sami wants it all. He talked about taking everything from Rich Swann, and he talked about how it started with the X Division title. And also, they ran a really neat video package later on in the night, further highlighting and pumping up the match with takes from Sami Calihan and takes from Rich Swann. Impact Wrestling's production team did a fabulous job on those two interviews. So, moving on, Easy E, Eli, and Kenny. We had Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake versus KM and followed by not the greatest match in the world. It went 5 minutes. It was decent enough, but I really picked up when Eli Drake jumped up and hit that top rope superplex. Eli Drake's athleticism is so underrated. I always make this reference. He's much like Elias in WWE. Both of those guys' personality gets all of the notoriety, and their ring work gets overlooked because of it. And that's the case with Eli Drake. He's a heck of a worker. Like when he jumps up and does that top rope superplex, much like Kurt Angle used to do, man, that is awesome. And this is a decent enough match. It would end, interestingly enough, as Eddie Edwards tossed Kenny to Eli Drake. He nailed, I think it was KM over the head. Well, it was definitely KM over the head with it. And Eddie Edwards picked up the win with the Boston Knee Party. So this is interesting. Is this a face tag team? Is it a heel tag team? It's looking like a heel tag team to me. They're working together with Kenny, and seems like Eli Drake is crossing over to the hardcore side. So my next takeaway is Taya and a trash can. I don't have much to say here other than Taya shoved the investigative reporter into a trash can, and I loved it. That's it. Moving on, in Ace Austin showcase, Ace Austin versus Damian Hyde. Look, this was what the Ace Austin debut should have been. It was a showcase, and he really got all of it in. Like, there was not much offense for Damian Hyde. Ace Austin is so fast and athletic, and I love this showcase. And I think the kid has a bright future. Like I posted on Twitter at 2SweetPod. I'll be on at OMG Corey B and at 2SweetPod at times, but I posted that I'm excited about this kid and that he has a bright future, and I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds in Impact Wrestling, whether that's in the X Division or in the World Heavyweight Division. So, moving on 2 weeks, we got this mysterious video package. Somebody sitting in the park, looked like a lady sitting in the park, and then all of a sudden it just said 2 weeks. So, I guess that's a future knockout. We'll see who it is. I have no idea. We'll see as time goes on. My next takeaway is a Johnny story. So, we were waiting for the explanation from Johnny Impact, and I was waiting, and everybody was waiting. And when he got down to it, he talked about how the people didn't care about him, and how when Brian Cage came along, they found a new meathead and they got behind him. So, I mean, they went on to Taya as well. She talked about how they now make the rules. She talked about the fans, how they tried to dictate things for them around here and they no longer do it anymore. They tried to bleed Johnny Impact dry, and I don't know. I thought this was a solid enough explanation from Johnny Impact's side. It doesn't really explain what went on with Killer Cross, so that's left out for interpretation. We had a little bit of interaction later on in the show I'll get to, but we'll see how it all turns out. It was decent enough as an opening promo as to why he did it. I can buy it. He was tired of the fans, turning and going on to Brian Cage's side. I get that. I can buy that. So next up next takeaway is Rosemary's Search. She found James Mitchell and she's talking about how she wanted Allie's soul back, and she said that she would go to the undead realm to get it. So that is interesting. That will go down next week. And look, I want something crazy. Not like the Dark War, I think it was, where it was just a war. It was just a match with lights. Like, no, this week she's going to the undead realm. I want something dynamic. I want something crazy next week. So moving on, we had a decent matchup. Willie Mack versus Ethan Page. I thought it was decent. Wasn't great, but decent enough. Hey, I gotta say, it was another enjoyable Ethan Page match that I liked. I like that running senton, that running corner senton that Willie Mack does. The guys, once again, another new age big man, can fly around with the little guys, can muscle around the big guys. Love that flying senton that he has. The guy is so athletic. Willie Mack would go on to pick up the win with the stunner, and Willie Mack's momentum continues on. So my next takeaway is Killer Cross. So Killer Cross was backstage, met up with Johnny Impact, and they whispered something to each other, and Johnny Impact said that this night just keeps getting better and better. He walks off, and Killer Cross looked upset. So I have had the theory that, look, whatever's going on, Killer Cross has to have some kind of meaning behind it, because he just cannot align with Johnny Impact out of nowhere. There has to be some kind of something on this. Killer Cross is getting the next title shot, or he wants to eliminate Brian Cage from action because Brian Cage is a bigger threat. There has to be some type of reason why Killer Cross is doing what he's doing, or else I can't get with it. My next takeaway is Disco Bar. So, oh my goodness, Glenn Gilberti, get him off my screen. He's in a bar. We have that investigative reporter talking to him. And Gilberti's talking about how a woman cannot beat a man and that he will show it next week. So, get Glenn Gilberti off my screen. We only got to have one more week of him, thank goodness. So my next takeaway is a Gail apology. So earlier in the show, Tessa Blanchard demanded an apology, a public apology from Gail Kim. And Gail Kim was coming out of a meeting with Impact Management, and she said that there's nothing that she can do. Tessa Blanchard has her lawyers involved in this, and that she'll have to do what she'll have to do. It's looking like that's gonna go down next week. We'll see. So right after that interview happened, next takeaway is a backstage brawl. We had LAX and the Lucha Brothers going at it. They came right out of a room, and it was just mass chaos. And Melissa Santos and Gail Kim got the heck up out of there. Mass chaos going on. They're laying each other out. And eventually, I like that the referees didn't like jump in right when they started fighting. They kind of let the fight linger on. And then they had the referees come out. And then Conan comes out. And he says that they wanted the rematch. They didn't want to have to happen like this. Something to that effect. And it was well done. I enjoyed the heck out of it, and I cannot wait to see what stipulation they put on LAX versus Lucha Brothers. My next takeaway, Willie Mack destroys OVE. So Willie Mack is walking back to his backstage locker room, and he goes in, and OVE does the thing where they look at the camera and they jump in to the backstage area, and all kind of chaos is going on, and I'm like, Willie Mack is getting destroyed. And then Willie Mack walks out with a chair. And he looks up and he says, you know, we need to get better security around here. And Willie Mack just destroyed OVE. So that was pretty funny. So my last takeaway is we had a great main event. Rich Swann versus Sami Calihan. And got off to a hot start. I love the dive off the steps from the outside from Rich Swann to Sami Calihan. And I thought this was a phenomenal match. I thought they did some great things in this match. And look, the 450 got a sweet, nice near fall from Rich Swann. And I love the super power bomb that Sami Calihan laid on Rich Swann as well. The match would end as Rich Swann would get the cradle roll up for the win. You know, I thought they would go with Sami Calihan here. I thought they was going to go all the way and have him strip the title from Rich Swann, have him take everything away from Rich Swann. That very well still could happen. We could probably have a rematch. Who knows how this storyline will play out. But moving on, post-match, we had Sawyer Fulton get involved, laid out Rich Swann, put the beat down on Willie Mack as well. And he is the newest member of OVE, formerly of NXT, Sawyer Fulton. And man, that is a huge dude, man. And he looks like the prime person to play the muscle for OVE. And I cannot wait to see what they do, how the storyline plays out going forward. So that is my Impact Wrestling review. Let me know your thoughts, whether that's in the YouTube comment section or on Twitter at OMGCoreyB or at 2SweetsPOD. That's the number 2SweetsPOD. Let me know your